Yeah, sustainability has many dimensions. The reason why I call it religion is because sustainability has been in the lexicon of Nestle for a long time. Responsible consumption is always been the motto of the company.
I'd love to ask you a little bit more about what you mean by strength of character, and have there been times where you've been sort of in a pickle and you've kind of really had to go back to your values, your core beliefs?
I have believed, Natasha, that it's better to walk away rather than bruise your conscience. Because once you bruise your conscience, then healing takes that much longer.
We have with us today Mr. Suresh Narayanan, Chairman and Managing Director of Nestle India. A transformative leader, he has seen Nestle through 22 consecutive quarters of positive growth. Under his able leadership, Nestle has launched nearly 120 new products. He was named CEO of the Year in the FMCG industry by Business Today and is listed as one of the most influential CEOs by the Economic Times. Sir, it's an absolute honor to have you here today.
Thank you, Natasha.
I'd like to get started on a slightly lighter foot. Could you tell me what comes to mind when I say the word Nestle?
Trust.
That's amazing. When I say Maggie?
Taste.
When I say sustainability?
It's a religion.
Religion?
Yeah.
That's interesting. India?
Growth and vibrancy.
That's amazing. Innovation?
Imperative.
FMCG?
Exciting.
Leadership?
Journey.
I wish I could delve into all of these, but I think I'd get started. How do you see India's consumption trends evolving as we've moved into quick commerce and the digital economy?
I think India is in for some very exciting times. I mean, the fact is that we are the fastest growing large economy of sorts in the world. Even though the last couple of quarters of consumption growth have been a little bit muted, but I think the fundamentals of the consumption economy are strong. And what are the fundamentals? Strong and growing per capita income, a growing middle class, urbanization, which is the penetration of products into small towns and into villages of India, increasing aspirations. The digital connect of the country is phenomenal. Yeah. And also the progress of premium products in the country. These are the reasons why I believe that the scope for consumer goods is very strong.
Yeah.
Add to it, I think it's a very competitive market. Yeah. And apart from large national players, you have regional players, and you have a number of startups now in the food space, yeah, which makes it that much more interesting. So I'm really confident that the consumption economy will revive. What is impacting it at the moment is a dual problem of food inflation.
Yes.
Inflation is very high.
Yeah.
And also an evolution of real incomes has also been muted post-COVID.
Post-COVID.
Once that corrects itself, I think there will be, today a lot of the growth is government capex led. Once it comes back into consumption, then you will see the strength that the economy had in the past manifesting itself into consumption.
Going forward. Absolutely. It's interesting that you mentioned both inflation and COVID. How do you navigate Nestle through external shocks like supply chain challenges, inflation, regulatory pressures? What is the go-to strategy there?
See, look, I think 2 or 3 things we do as a company. Number one is we are consumer-centered.
Absolutely.
To me, what matters is what Natasha thinks about the brand and what she consumes, rather than what I think about the brand.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that doesn't matter. So consumer centricity and customer centricity is probably the best mantra for any consumer-facing company to have.
Yeah.
Apart from this, we have mechanisms in the organization for effecting efficiency improvements. in terms of cost savings, in terms of process rationalization, in terms of enhanced efficiencies. As a result of this, we try and conserve as much of the cost hit as possible. And only when the cost hit is incapable of being absorbed by any of these steps, do we look at price increases. So that's when the price increase happens.
That's the final.
So increasingly, what we try and do is we balance growth with profitability. So it's not only growth with zero profitability, it's not only profitability with weak growth. The portfolio, and since we have got 5 categories which are fairly strong, with fairly strong positions, we are able to manage it very well. And on a regulatory standpoint, one of the things that we follow as a company is, for us, the local regulation is gospel truth.
Right.
So whether or not we agree or disagree with it, we comply with it.
Absolutely.
And that's compliance, and regulatory compliance is an essential dimension of the Nestlé model. And we keep within that.
You've mentioned profitability, and a lot of times, it's a fine balance, short-term growth and long-term sustainable growth. How does Nestlé navigate that landscape?
Look, Nestlé has always been a long-term oriented company. Our brands, our propositions, our R&D, our capabilities are always modulated towards the long term. So we are not, we do manage short-term results. I mean, that's an imperative of the market, but we think for the long term. So a lot of our investments that we are putting into India, for example, are long-term investments in capability, capacity building, sustainability building. So what we do is we have a model of growth with profitability. So growth, what we have delivered in the last 8-10 years has been a double-digit growth, along with fairly strong profitability, with operating margins between 20 and 22%. So that's the Nestlé model that we follow. And we try and modulate our innovations and our introductions, keeping in view this model.
And you mentioned sustainability is a religion to you and to Nestlé. So can I know a little bit more about what, sort of initiatives Nestlé is taking into sustainability? I think any conversation would be incomplete without.
Yeah, sustainability has many dimensions. The reason why I call it religion is because sustainability has been in the lexicon of Nestlé for a long time. We have, ever since I remember, and have been around in the company for almost 25 years plus, we have always had targets in terms of energy reduction, water consumption reduction, greenhouse gas reduction, wastewater reduction. All of these have been objectives for us for a long time. So that's one part of it. In fact, water conservation is so important to us that we have a technology which enables us to use the water in the liquid milk for doing the plant maintenance activities.
Oh,
so
that's interesting.
we have lower withdrawal of water from the groundwater by 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
So that's one example.
And at scale, that's a huge.
At scale, that's a huge thing. Then we have sustainable sourcing.
Absolutely.
Every cup of Nescafe that you drink is sustainably sourced coffee. We work with under a Nescafe plan with farmers in Coorg and in Kerala, and they give us coffee that has been sustainably grown. We pay them 3 rupees per kilo extra.
Okay.
Because sustainably sourced coffee, in terms of throughput per acre, is slightly lower than wildly growing coffee. So we ensure that we reward them for it. Then we got sustainably sourced oils, sustainably sourced spices, right?
Cocoa beans as well.
Then we have cocoa beans as well, sustainably sourced, not from India, but from overseas. Then we have got plastics, which is a big, designed for recycling is something that we have been, and we are a plastic neutral company for the last 4 years in a row, which means that the amount of plastic that we generate is roughly equal to the amount of plastic that we recycle. So all of these are ways in which we promote sustainability. In fact, in the dairy space, today we are pioneers.
Yes.
We have installed about 3,000 biodigesters, in large dairy farms in Punjab. What the farms can do is they can make use of the dung, the manure, in order to generate biogas that not only helps them in terms of cooking and thereby replacing wood and charcoal as fuels, but also able to electrify some of them.
Yes.
So I think this is another initiative which has been done, and in large farms we are able to implement it,
Yeah.
thereby reducing the methane emission, which is also a contributory factor to
The
climate
greenhouse
change.
effect, absolutely.
Right. So these are that's why I say it's religion, because it's multifarious and it is sustained and it is continued over a period of time.
And I was reading before this as well, Nestle really lives that
Yes.
religion through. And I would also like to ask, you mentioned COVID, and, how are the, how has Nestle sort of changed its product portfolio to kind of, obviously the consumption trends pre-COVID and post-COVID have been very different. So how is Nestle sort of catered to that? And especially there's been so much more focus on the health side. We all sort of realized that we must focus on it as well. So, if you could talk a little bit about Nestle's moves there.
I think Natasha, the company has made strides in terms of recalibrating its portfolio. In terms of nutrition, certainly it's been the number of variants that we have introduced with better nutrition now. Responsible consumption is always been the motto of the company. That doesn't mean that you wolf down 6 bars of Kit Kat at one sitting, or wolf down 6 plates of Maggi noodles at one sitting. Responsible consumption and bite size is always recommended for food. But then we're looking at upgrading our products. I'm very excited about the new launch of Cerelac with no refined sugar that we have introduced now, which is an important step. It's a 3-year-old project to dramatically reduce the levels of sugar. And now, in fact, with no refined sugar, it'll be a milestone. So, like this, the journey is in terms of upgrading our portfolio, both nutritionally and in terms of innovation. Today, innovation is about 7% of our sales and growing. Premiumization is also a part of the journey. I'm excited by the ventures that we have announced of Nespresso.
Absolutely.
And then we have got a joint venture with Dr. Reddy's for Nestle Health Science, which will look into vitamins, minerals, and supplements and other health care products. Because health and healthcare is probably the biggest theme in India going forward. Right? Education and healthcare come together. And also our pet care business.
On a more personal level, I think somebody did ask you, what do you look for in a leader, and what do you look for when you're looking when everybody. So we're smack dab in the middle of placement season right now at ISB, and we're of course we'll do the preparations, but from a long standing perspective, what do you think is something that you see in an interview, in a candidate, in a junior, and you're like, okay, that person is going to go far? What is that spark that makes you?
Look, I think a few things which are counterintuitive actually. One is how calm the person is.
Okay.
To me, that tells me a lot about character, and how wonderful, because normally you find young people getting pretty anxious, trying to impress with jargon, with facts, with with jokes and with various other things. So I look for a person whom I think is representing themselves, being themselves, being calm about it. To me, the strength of character is extremely important. And therefore, I like to question on character, which is tough situations, ambivalent situations, values being compromised. How has that person reacted? Third is more general intelligence and awareness on the environment, on how things are happening, some of the essential events in the world. How are they responding to it? Because I honestly believe that technical competence is already measured in assessment tests and various other things. So you don't have to go through that. But it's more the calmness, maturity, strength of character, clarity and simplicity of communication, and an overall quiet confidence. I don't want somebody to be loudly confident and sort of every pore shouting out that I'm a very confident person. At the same time, I think there is a quiet confidence that. So my characteristics could be a little different from the stereotypes that people look at, and I can make out. I can make out. And I think with years of experience and having groomed many thousand leaders, I can make out who will be the race horses.
Okay.
But initially, they are the ones with the highest amount of doubt in the organization, because you measure them versus stereotypes, and they are not stereotypical. And because they're not stereotypical, they're going to be different, and that difference will count one day when they will stand out. That's the belief.
That's amazing. And, I'd love to ask you a little bit more about what you mean by strength of character, and have there been times where you've been sort of in a pickle and you've kind of really had to go back to your values, your core beliefs lean on them?
It does happen. And for me, strength of character is purpose, values, behavior, and outcomes. These are the four things that are important to me. Yes, I've had situations in life when my values could have potentially been compromised for the sake of business. Sometimes it does happen. I have chosen to stay with my values. Maybe I've lost out. Personally, maybe a promotion might have been denied to me. I don't know. Maybe an assignment was denied to me because they found me to be a little. Straight is fine, but they might find me to be a little rigid as well, saying that, no, I'm sorry, I will not compromise on this. I try and not reach such a situation. I try and correct it before, but sometimes when inevitable happens, I have believed, Natasha, that it's better to walk away rather than bruise your conscience. Because once you bruise your conscience, then healing takes that much longer. But once you walk away from the opportunity, it only hurts for a while, saying that I didn't get it. But then you know that why you didn't get it is because of a compromise you were unwilling to do.
Yeah, you don't carry that with you. You carry
that.
Absolutely.
You don't carry that.
Thank you so much for being here today, sir, and for interacting with me. You've been incredibly patient, and it has been an absolute honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you very much. I wish you all the very best. And, as I always say, that the future of India is its youth. You represent, and your classmates represent, the youth of this country. And may good tidings and may good happenings be with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.